Big thanks to Cardmarket for sponsoring today's video. Alright, hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. In today's video, we are going to be looking over the OP12 Koala deck list. Of course, Koala is going to be a very powerful leader if coming in OP12. A lot of people are sleeping on it, but it is incredibly powerful. It's going to be the deck that I'm going to be running, and it's just so much fun. However, OP12 doesn't release for I think it's like 2, maybe 3 weeks even. But we are going to make sure that you know exactly which cards you have to pick up as of right now. Because the longer you wait, the more expensive they're going to get. The harder it is, there's delivery times, all that sort of stuff, right? But we're going to go over the cards that you need to buy right now if you want to play Koala in OP12. So let's jump straight into the actual deck list that we're going to be looking at. So this here is my deck list. I think this is the best deck list there is of Koala. Of course, a lot of other people do take in other things into account. We're going to be talking about that as well, but we're going to start off with this as a base. And as you can tell right off the bat, majority of these cards are going to be from OP12. So you don't necessarily need to buy much in advance at all. But looking at it, we have OP12, 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 and then we get to our first non-OP12 card here in Bartholomew Kuma. This is a really good 2K because it's a Revolutionary Army type 2K, right? Which is going to be the most important thing when building Koala, right? Because you're building around Dragon, which requires you to have Revolutionary Army cards in your graveyard. And so your 2Ks being Revolutionary Army is really powerful. And not only that, this is a body that comes out of Trigger and that can turn games around if you really need it. So very powerful card, very needed card here because we do lack good 2Ks in these colors for Rev Army. So picking 4 off of these is super important. In my opinion, the best 2K that is Rev Army that we have access to. Then we're moving on to Baby 5, which is a OP12 card. Kuma, that is an OP12 card. And then we have 4 copies of Sabo, which I think Sabo is really, really powerful in this deck. Being a Rev Army with counter and a draw 2 trigger is so powerful, right? Because we counter with him and then you fill up your trash with Rev Armies, but also you have that extra chance of getting a draw 2 trigger. This card, in my opinion, is a must-have, at least for now, as the deck is lacking support. In OP13, things might change depending on how much support we get in black, but right now, this is an absolute staple. You need to get 4 of this. It's a rare, so it's a bit higher on that rarity scale, right, than something like Kuma, but you need to pick up a playset of this. And then we have an OP12 card in Cat's Ensemble, and then we wrap it up with Tempest Kick Sky Slicer. I'd say this is the most flexible spot in this deck. I think I am the only one who plays this card. It's because it's another draw 2 trigger, but other than that, it basically does nothing, right? It's a brick in hand, and then you can't really KO anything that costs 0 because you don't have any access to reduction, so you will never hit anything with it. You can, however, use it to KO things, people's stages with a cost of 3 or less, which can definitely be relevant, right? But not especially in this meta necessarily, but it's still a draw 2 trigger, so it is still an incredibly powerful card when you can hit it out of life. But I still say pick this up just because it is an uncommon. It's not going to be too expensive. Just pick these up 4 off. Other than that, a lot of people are talking about, let's see, Lin Lin. It's going to be this Lin Lin here. It's a 6-cost 7K. On play, trash a card from your hand, and your opponent chooses if they want to discard 2 cards from their hand or if they want to trash the top of their lives. So this card is definitely spicy, but the fact that it's a 6-cost means it can be played off of Dragon. And the fact that it doesn't have any hand size limit means that you can, if your opponent is lower than 5 in hand size, then you can't hit them with the Robin. Boom, then you hit them with the Charlotte Lin Lin. So incredibly powerful stuff here. There is one more card that people are playing, and that's going to be, I think on the sim, it's Black Vortex. It is Black Spiral. It's a 2-cost counter event. that says nullify the effects of up to one of your opponent's leader or characters and give them minus 4,000 power during this turn. This is basically anti-green Zoro, right? When Zoro swings at you or swings at your character, boom, you just drop this, and now they can't restand. So very powerful. And even if they restand with like a restand event, then boom, they're already low on power, right? Because this is also minus 4,000 for the turn. So really good like anti-restand things card. Very powerful. I'd say pick up at least 2 of this as well. So let's just go over, jump over to Cardmarket and check out the prices on these cards. All right, so starting off with Kuma here, you can tell that this card is like rarely ever worth anything, right? This is basically bulk. You can find playsets for 2 cents each here. So it's like, this is just bulk, right? If you can't find this in your locals, hop over to Cardmarket and you can find playsets for 0.02. Doesn't get cheaper than this. So not much to say about this, but I still say pick up a playset if you do not have access to it or you don't have any bulk nearby that you can pick from. Get a playset of this for sure. Then we have the Sabo that we talked about. Same thing here, right? It's minimum price. You can find playsets. So it's really not a problem to pick this up. Even though this is a rare, it is still very cheap as it's not really running anything besides like Bello Betty, right? And even Bello Betty is not running every Bello Betty list. So pick this up while you can. A very good chance that this spikes a little bit because it is a rare. So it could definitely spike a little bit up to like maybe short under €1. But pick this up now before it spikes, before I start making videos talking about how nutty this card is. So make sure you pick them up now. Sky Slicer, I mean, this is the same as always. This is a OP03 card, so I'd say if anything, this could go up a little bit, depending on how much play it sees. But we have had this see play in Blackbeard already, and it didn't spike then, so I doubt it'll spike now. It is just an uncommon, and it is just bulk, right? So shouldn't be any problem. Pick this up. Pick up 4 of them in case you want to play the draw 2 trigger build. In my opinion, it is the strongest build at the moment, at least until we have more support. And then we talk about the Charlotte Linlin here. This is where things are going to be a little bit more spicy here because this is a super rare, and not only a super rare, it's a starter deck super rare, right? So a little bit more rare than other bulk super rares. You can see it goes here for 175. That is like almost nothing. You can find a playset here for $2 each. So definitely not that bad. It's going to run you around 8 to 10 euros to pick this up. And that is no problem whatsoever. It's not that is especially expensive, especially for a card of this caliber that is as rare as it is. I don't think people are running 4 of this, though. I think they're running 1 to 2 copies. And I don't recommend running this card. I think it is scarily too much a brick, and we have enough 6-cost targets already. But people are playing this card, so if this fits into your playstyle, definitely pick up a couple of those while you're at it. Black Vortex, I mean, this is just bulk. Holy, dude. Yeah, to say that this is bulk is not exaggerating. Okay, so you can pick this up for minimum price as well. You can pick up 65 copies at the moment. So if you want to do that, I don't know if you would. But yeah, definitely something you could consider. And it's a good card, especially, it's like a 2-off, but you can probably run more as well if you would like. And then we're going to move on to some cards that I actually haven't talked about yet because I completely forgot about them. I had to go back in the Discord and check out what cards people are running. We're going to talk about this Nami from OP08. This card is being run in Japan at the moment. And it is a very strong card, especially because we don't really have access to any form of removal whatsoever. Nami is just a good card, right? The problem with Nami in Koala is that you will never have 3 or less cards in hand. So you will never get the draw. But just a 5-cost trash 1 KO of 5-cost is really strong, especially on curve. So definitely a good card, and it does have a trigger as well that is really strong. So I just say super strong card. Pick it up. It's gonna run you around €2 as well. So not anything crazy. Of course, these are gonna be harder to find in playsets. Here's the first playset for €3 here. Not bad though, not bad. And you can run this card, or you can also run the 5-cost Sanji, but this is way higher recommended because the 5-cost Sanji is very conditional, right? Whereas you can always just trash a card with this. Triggers you'd run enough of in the deck to not have to worry about that. So that is one card you should consider. And then Stussy, or Stussy. is a card that people are running as well. We saw this in a list that performed in Japan, and it's what I understand is that it's mainly anti blue purple Luffy tech to deal with those pesky big ass bodies like 8 cost Katakuri, 9 Mom, 9 Sanji, and you can just trash one of your searchers to KO those. It's a very strong card indeed. I won't run it in my deck because I don't like running too many bricks, and I think we're a pretty bricky deck already. But this is one of those super rare that's gonna run you like literally nothing. Like, look at this shit. This is you can pick up a playset for like $2. That is nothing. Very cheap card, so might as well pick it up at this point, right? Because it's a cheap card. And I'm sure you have some people at your locals who are trying to get rid of this sort of bulk. Um, so pick up like 2 copies of Stussy just in case. Very strong card. And then we have Ace. Now this is where things are actually getting pricey because now we're talking about secret rares, right? It's gonna run you €5. It's not that much actually. You can pick up 2 copies for 10 euros. You will never need more than 2 copies of this. So you will never go down more than 10 euros for this card here, right? So that is at least something. At least we're not a deck like NL that requires you to run 4 copies of this. But realistically, these numbers are pretty low. I'm just too used to playing Below Betty, where these numbers don't even exist because the deck is basically free. So this is very, very nice to see that it's actually not that expensive compared to some other decks, right? And yeah, I do recommend picking up 2 copies of Ace. Pretty cheap right now, right? So just pick it up, might as well. And then finally, You're the One Who Should Disappear. This is a rare, but it is also played in every single yellow deck, so it is unfortunately sitting at a little bit over €1. Place it here at €25. So not overly expensive. It's too expensive for a rare, obviously, but it's obviously the most like played rare in like all of yellow. So not that strange that it would be expensive. But very strong card. You can run it. You don't have to run it. Like I said, like I prefer running the 2Ks that have like better effects or Rev Army typed. And since it's not Rev Army, I wouldn't run it. But it does have an incredibly powerful trigger and helps you cycle out your hand when defending, right? So very powerful card. Pick that up as well. All right, that is going to be it for my video here. Hopefully you enjoyed. And if I missed any cards that you would pick up personally for Koala, let me know in the comments down below. And I would be sure to like maybe pin it if I agree that you should pick that up. I've agreed. I've let you know about all the cards I want to run and that I'm gonna run. And besides that, some more cards, other cards as well. Something like 5 cost Sabo is something I didn't even go over because it's not being run at the moment. And it seems like most people are moving away from it. But these cards you should definitely pick up since we have basically solved the Koala deck by now. It's been out for a couple months in the East. And yeah, I just want to say thank you for watching. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Peace.